What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's gonna be a little different. I'm actually able to sit down and talk and do my makeup and stuff. So there were some requests for me to do like advice and story times while I do my makeup and my hair. I have time while the kids are down. Obviously I did my eyebrows first so that wouldn't take forever. Before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you aren't subscribed already. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get notified when my videos pop up. Ooh, that was kind of a lot. But today I'm going to be doing some advice. Now, don't take my advice too personal because you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm nobody's life coach. I'm nobody's therapist or anything like that. But I have been through some things and we all are going through similar things apparently, or have been through similar things. So basically I'm just going to give my output on what I would do or wouldn't do for you guys. So basically someone asked me, how do I handle co-parenting with the mix of other parents and my parents? I'm guessing they're saying the other person's parents and their parents being involved. They said there's been a lot of drama. I'm trying to keep everything cool, calm, and collected. I love a peaceful life. I have 3 kids as well, and I'm just confused on what to do. So I know a lot about like mixing my parents and other parents in my co-parenting lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. I know all about that. Especially this past year, it's been very like it's been chaotic. Honestly, it has been. The girl says that she wants a peaceful life, and I do as well with my kids. Like, I don't want, you know, them hearing me and their father talk bad about each other, because I grew up around certain things like that. Like, I resented my parents at one point for either, like, you know, picking, like, I would have to pick a side, it felt like, when I was younger, because of all like the chaos that was going on. And basically, like, it messed me up as well. Like, did they know that? Probably not. They probably thought I was just acting out, which I probably was. I'm not gonna say I just wasn't and everything's their fault. I probably was acting out for sure. Messy co-parenting can mess up the kids. It really can. It could make things harder. It can make kids feel like they have to choose a parent to, you know, side with, and I don't want that for my children either. So one piece of advice I would give you is to not talk bad about their father or their other parent, period, especially in front of them. Do not do that, because little do you know, little do we know, because I'm still, you know, growing and learning this mom stuff. But little do we know, kids really like pick up on what you're saying, and I mean, they have good memory with certain things, and you know, sometimes they will like take that and go with it. You know, sometimes I would hear one parent say this and say that, or they would say it to me directly, and I'd be like, well dang, like mom or dad is like, ooh, like what's up, like what's going on? And you don't want that for your kid. They already have to go through, you know, school and trying to be accepted by other people. They're already trying to figure out their own lives. They don't need you to rain on their parade, basically. They don't need your storm to get them wet. So that's one piece of advice I would use most definitely. Do not talk bad on other parents, especially while your child is around. Now, my other piece of advice would honestly, don't even really talk bad about the other parent to your parents, your adult parents, because your parents will ride for you till the wheels fall off, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes they may not get over situations as easy as you will, because you know this person better than they do, and you know, they love you. They don't want you to be mistreated. They don't want you to mistreat other people as well. Like, it's a really hard thing to do, but you really have to keep quiet with a lot of things, because like I said, you will forgive that person, somebody may not. And that's kind of where, like, I saw myself, you know, getting messy, like with my situation, I would go and run and tell mom and dad this, or, you know, this and that, and, you know, I jump up and forgive, and it's kind of like, well, he still did this, he still said that. And you know, that is fine. That is very much okay. But for me, I like to move past things as quickly as possible sometimes, because I don't like drama. I really don't. I'm not here for it. Now, I will say I confide in my parents. So yes, they will say things to me like, that ain't right. Either I wasn't right or he wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to little petty arguments and this he said, she said stuff, it's really unnecessary for you to get all worked up, because I'm telling you, you guys will get cool. If that's the relationship you have, you guys will get cool, and then you'll have to explain, like, you know, well, I said that. Like, it's just too much. You don't want to have to over explain yourself, because you already have to figure out the co-parenting life. Like, you have to figure out, how is it going to be easy for me? How is it going to be easy for them? How is it going to be easy for the grandparents? Because I used to call David's parents and be like, well, can you know, tell him this and tell him that? Like, I'm trying to talk to him and he won't answer. Like, you know, it's just, it's not worth it. You don't need to put them in your mess, like, especially if you don't want to hear anybody's opinion. That was my problem. I would hear people's opinion and I'd be like, what the hell? Like, why would you even say something like that to me? Or what the heck? Like, I came to you, confided in you, and you just brushed me off. Like, there can be a lot of that. Like, there could either be some messiness between parents and you and the other parent that's co-parenting, or it could be, you know, really, it could just really be chaotic and nasty, and you don't want that for yourself. So my other piece of advice would to most definitely keep all the petty stuff that you're, you know, doing to a minimum first. You most definitely need to think before you speak, because sometimes things come out wrong, you know what I'm saying? You may say something and then, you know, now you're being ridiculed or whatever the freak it may be. But you know what I'm saying? Just keep things to yourself until you feel like you have, you know, you have analyzed everything and you want to speak. Like, if you still feel like you need to talk to someone and the only people you really have are your parents or the other person's parents or friends, make sure before you go to them, you confide in yourself. You talk to yourself, talk to God, talk to your higher power. You know what I'm saying? Talk to a therapist if you have one. Now, if you have a therapist, then you really should be good. I need to get one. But honestly, keep a lot of your business to yourself, because like I said, you will forgive, some people won't. Now, I'm not saying keep everything to yourself and just bottle it all up and then burst in flames when you finally had enough. No, I'm not saying that either, because that's what I did. It doesn't work. It honestly makes things even more worse, because, you know, you get to a point where you've been fed up, you forgive and you forgive and you forgive, and you take and you take and you take all of this pressure, and then it's like, all right, I'm done, like, I can't do it anymore. And then you get mad and you blow up. Like, you just don't want that either, because you're raining on your children's parade, and then also you're making it like a little harder for yourself to co-parent, because people don't forget words, especially when they're hurtful. Some people will literally take that to the grave, or, you know, hold grudges. Like, you most definitely have to work on self-discipline, and you have to work on patience. You have to work on your peace. You have to work on a lot when it comes to this co-parenting and involving the grandparent. They did say that it gets messy when it comes to the partner's parents. I never really had that problem. I'm not saying that I can get people to be on my side, but I've never really had that problem, because, you know, I take care of my responsibilities, and I really didn't start talking to his parents about his co-parenting styles or like what he wasn't doing until, you know, later, when it got to be too much. And honestly, what I should have done was, you know, took the time to talk to him and really, you know, listen and explain myself without being rude, without being petty, because, you know, I know, like, he knows that, you know, I'm the mother, so of course I'm gonna put in the extra work, but I would make it a point to say, like, you don't have to do this and you don't have to, like, you know, but he knew that. He knows that I'm doing, you know, mommy's job. Like, I'm gonna be the superhero. I'm gonna try everything I can to make sure that my children are straight. I'm not saying that he doesn't. I was just making it a point that, you know, I say things and I don't really articulate my words good. Like, I don't use the right words sometimes, or the right terms. And, you know, sometimes Davi will be like, well, you know, he'll be like, well, what the heck? And I'm like, you know, I didn't mean it that way. I was just saying. And he'll be like, well, you know, you need to watch how you word things, or think before you speak, type of thing. And true enough, he is right. I need to watch how I say things and think before I speak, and also how I word certain things, because sometimes, like, I can be very aggressive when it comes to talking. That's just me. But I learned that when I'm talking to some people don't like it. So yes, you may have to change up how you're talking sometimes. You may have to, you know what I'm saying, change up your wording, and that's okay, because everyone's not the same. If you want your life to be peaceful, you want co-parenting to be peaceful, you will absolutely have to change things about yourself as well. You are not always right, and they are not always right. I had to learn that. I'm not always right, and I know that. I just had to, when I'm talking, I have to remember there's always a reason for why people do certain things, and it could be, one, because they just want to, two, because they're reacting to how, you know, they're responding to however you reacted towards them or acted towards them. They're responding to it. And then also, sometimes people just, like, people need you to be the bigger person, to be mature first, so that they can follow in your steps. Now, sometimes it's not the best. Like, you may feel like you're always being the bigger person, but trust me, being the bigger person honestly works in the end, because you knew you did everything you could. You knew you tried. You knew you did what you had to do to make this easier. Now, sometimes nothing will work. Like, I haven't went to court because, you know, co-parenting didn't work. Now, did I go to social media? Yes. And was that right? Probably not. Absolutely not. But like I said, you know, sometimes nothing works. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't really condone getting those folks involved in your business, because, you know, I've been learning about, like, law and stuff like that. So once you go to court, like, they're gonna have a say-so on certain things. Those people will be able to control certain things. I'm not for that. You guys didn't have my kids with me. You're not raising my kids. I'm not living off of the state either. So I really don't want them in my business. Everyone's screaming, go to child support, go to child support. It's never been about the money. It's honestly, like, you know, moms be needing a break. We be needing time to ourselves. We be needing time to work, just like fathers. I had to, that was one thing, and I hope he watches this and really understands that I'm not bashing him. Me and David, I have forgiven him over 100 times. He has forgiven me over 100 times. Not bashing him. But one thing about it is, I've never asked him for his money. I kind of got a brain fart, you guys. I don't even know where I was going with that. But I've never asked him for his money. It's never been about that, because knowing me, I'm gonna get shit done regardless. Excuse my language, but I'm gonna get stuff done regardless. Like, I will never push him to be like, you need to give me this, you need to give me that. No, because he has bills to pay. I do too, but my thing is, I never want him to struggle and have nowhere for my kids to sleep. I never want him to struggle and, you know, he can't eat. Like, if he is not right up here, or physically he's not right for the children, which means he probably shouldn't be around them until he can get his shit together. I'm not saying that's how it is, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I try to make his life easier so that mine can be made easier. Now, right now, that still isn't the case because, you know, it's all about learning, and he's gotten used to me, like, just being there for him. He has really gotten used to me being like a backbone. I had to express myself to him one day, like, you know, I make your life easier, and I just want the same for myself. I want the same for me and the kids. I want to be a happy mommy. I don't want to always, you know, be stressed out, and then, you know, the kids may scratch the wall up with the toy, and then now I'm mad and I want all the toys put up. I don't want to be like that. I want to be carefree. Like, I want to be like, okay, it's okay, like, don't do it again, we'll get it fixed. Like, you know, I want it to go that way. But like I said, sometimes nothing works. So in this type of circumstance and situation, like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Now, if you go to court and you get visitation rights and you get child support, and that's how, you know, you want things to go and it makes you happy, then fine. For me, like, co-parenting without the courts is kind of hard because, you know, we like to use situations to our advantage. Like, when David knew he was in control of when he would see the kids and what time and when I had to get them, he definitely used it to his advantage. But that doesn't go against me, you know, because I definitely would use, when I had control, because I barely did, when I did have control, I most definitely used it to my advantage, because either I needed just time and space away from the kids, because you do. There's no reason for mothers to be, you know, feeling bad about needing space from their children. Come on now. Before we had kids, we was it. Like, all we had to worry about was ourselves. We can go about our day, and that was it. So, you know, sometimes, like, I definitely would use it to my advantage just so I could get a break. Like, I would use the control to my advantage. But did I every time? Most definitely not, because, you know, in my heart, I'm always like this, oh, karma's gonna get me, or I'm a good person, like, I wouldn't want him to do me that way. But let me tell you, this game ain't fair, boo. It is not fair. Sometimes one parent will get more advantages than the other one. But let me tell you, co-parenting is about the children. It's always about the children. Treat it like a business as well. When you have a business, and it's between you and another person, you guys sign a contract, you guys make this, like, do that, you guys both put in this for this and that, and then when one person fucks up, you know, the contract is like, oh, like, but it says here you're supposed to do this. Treat co-parenting like a contract. No feelings involved, no extra side conversations. Because also, when I was trying to be David's friend, and, like, you know, he would call me and stuff outside of the children, it was almost like, dude, like, I feel like we're talking more about just life and you and everything else, or just life and me and my personal business, more than we're talking about the kids. And that would really upset me to the point where, I don't know, maybe I would, like, be slick about things, and, like, with my mouth, like, I would say slick things like, oh, but the kids, oh, but the kids, like, because I felt like we were always worried about each other's business, like personal business, versus being worried about, did my kids eat, did my kids take a bath today, do you need diapers? Like, it most definitely was like that. David wants to be friends, and, you know, I do too, but sometimes I didn't want to either, because, you know, I always told him, like, how can we be friends when I see you going out living your life and partying, and I'm over here stuck with the kids, and I've been asking, you know, you to take them or whatever. Like, it was not good for either one of us. So I had to let that part go as well. Like, we just didn't need to be friends. We needed to work on our business, which is our children. Your children are the business. You guys are the business partners. You guys need to do what is best for the children, point blank, period. There should be no other side conversations, especially if one of the parents are like, okay, well, you're talking about buying this, but what have you bought for my kids? Or, you know, if it's gonna be like that, it's definitely gonna be messy. Your definitely gonna have each other confused, because Davi would be confused. He'd be like, are we friends, are we not, are we cool, are we not, do you love me, do you not? Like, when it shouldn't be none of that. I shouldn't have confused him. It should have been, these are your kids, help me take care of them, that's it. Either you do or you don't. So don't be confusing people. You know, you calling them your friend and you guys confide in each other, and then as soon as the other parent don't do something you don't like, or do something you don't like, then you're mad, you know, because then they're like, well, what the hell, I thought I was good, you know what I'm saying? Because lo and behold, like, I would tell Davi, like, you know, we are cool, we can be friends, like, I just need you to work on yourself. And he'd be like, okay, I will. And then here he goes, like, someone's like, oh, Davi been living his life. And I'm like, what? Living his life? I'm over here struggling with 3 kids. Like, what's going on? You know, like, it should never be like that. And no, I'm not saying that Davi just is a horrible, shitty dad. I'm just giving you guys examples, because that's exactly like what I went through. Like, I most definitely had to tone it down when it came to talking. I had to tone it down when it came to even social media. I most definitely took him off social media because he would get mad at my posts, and his posts weren't pretty either. They weren't nice either. So, you know, or, you know, there was always something we just didn't like about it. So me being me, I like to block, I like to unfollow, so that's what I'm gonna do. You know, David tells me that's like childish, and well, if you don't like it, don't watch my story. Well, I'm like, you know, I watch people's stories because I follow them and I'm being nosy. Like, why else would we watch each other's stories? Like, to be nosy. And if I don't like your story, I'm not gonna watch it. And if I don't want to watch it, I'm not gonna follow you. So that was another situation that we had to go through. Like, the whole social media shit, don't do it. Unfollow each other, because you both are gonna live your lives. Like, I definitely tried to live my life while taking care of the kids. Now, I was most definitely tired, but I did try and have fun, and some nights he couldn't, and that's fine. Even if he didn't have the kids and he couldn't have fun, like, I still tried to have fun. But you know, don't be raining on your kids' parade with all of your mess, and don't be making your kids choose a side either, because that's so, like, that's just unnecessary, and that's so messy. Like, I don't want my kids to see me and him fighting. That's why I go so hard about co-parenting, because when I saw his parents, I'm like, what the heck? Your parents talk? They're in the same room? They can laugh and joke? I was like, I never saw that. The first time I saw my parents in the same room was probably when I got in trouble for smoking at school. I had to go to, like, this conference, and of course my mom and dad were there, but it was not a good thing. It was not a good thing. So yeah, definitely want that to work. Like, his parents they did a really good job with co-parenting. I've never saw anything like it from anybody's parents at all. I didn't really go to friends' house, so I guess I never saw if their parents were like that, but all I knew is when parents split up, they don't fuck with each other no more, bro. They just don't. That's all I knew. But when I saw differently, I was like, okay, well, if that time ever comes and I have to split with my child's father, because I didn't have kids before, but, you know, I'm like, that would be really dope. Like, I guess I never seen it, so I just never, it was dope to me to see them talk. Like, it was just dope to me. So I think that's why I also go so hard, because I want the boys to still know that, you know, our parents can take us on, you know, little trips to Disney World and to the zoo even, or even have like Sunday dinners out. I still want that, like, maybe later in the future, because, you know, right now it's all about me leveling up and him leveling up and us getting our lives together. But, you know, I still wanted that for the boys. So I definitely have to fight my battles, because, you know, I confide in my dad and my mom and my stepmom. You know, I confide in these people when I'm going through it, and it's concerning co-parenting. Like, I definitely tell them, like, well, I said this and he said, like, you know, I definitely do that. But I also, like, I take what they tell me now, and I try not to get upset about things, because they've been there. All of my parents have been there. Co-parenting was not easy for none of them. None of them. I never saw none of them talk. The next time I saw any of my parents together in the same place was at graduation. They weren't even all sitting by each other. We took pictures, everybody laughed, haha, but it was for me. And then the next time was my baby shower. Like I rarely ever saw my parents talking. Now, do they have anything to talk about now? No. But my mom and my stepmom, they definitely, like when I'm on the phone on FaceTime and my mom's on the phone, or when Jennifer's on the phone and I'm around my mom, like they can say, hey girl, like I'm super grown, you guys, and I have my own kids. They're both grandmothers. Like they're gonna do what they have to do to make sure me and my kids are happy. And then, you know, that includes being cool, because I want to have barbecues and cookouts and family reunions, and I want everyone to be there. I don't want it to be, you know, weird fake vibes, and that's how I want the boys to grow up. Basically, all I was saying is I want that easygoing co-parenting life, but I've tried to make myself easygoing, and I've always said like I'm just so easygoing and la 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 la, and you know, sometimes I am. David has even said, like, you know, I'm thankful I have a baby mama like you, because these bitches is wicked. Like, these women is wild. They are crazy, they are mean, they are rude, they take other people's money. Like, you know, I'm not like that. But at the same time, I wasn't always fair, or, you know, because I knew that I was playing the role mommy and daddy sometimes. I'm not saying I had to be the man and just do that, but I'm saying, like, you know, there was some times where I had to pick up David's weight, and that's okay, because I'm hoping if he ever needs to pick up mine, he will. Hint, hint. But honestly, do what you have to do to make your co-parenting lifestyle easy. Right now, all I can do is, you know, encourage and motivate David whenever I feel like it, because this was another thing. He felt like I had to be there for him all the time, because he felt like he was there for me all the time, or he would be, which David, he can be there for me when he feels like it. I just feel like I'm there for him for everything. So if he can't keep the kids and I have to keep them like on his weekend, fine. So you can work, fine. I don't want you to be broke, or I don't want you to have to spend your last on this, so, you know, fine. Or it was always like, oh, you want to go to a party? Well, I will find you a babysitter. Or you need money, like I'll help you. Like, I don't want you to struggle. But I have to learn. I don't know where the camera stopped, but basically I had to learn to stop overextending my helping hand, because I'm the one with all three of them. And he always makes this little like comment, well, you're the one who left the home, you had me. And I'm like, dude, I still felt pretty lonely there too. Like, it's not to make him feel bad or make him look bad, it's just the honest to God truth. Like, I was doing a lot of the parenting even when we were in the same home. And you know, I had to stop saying, well, I'm trying to make his life easier. I already have to make me and my kids' life easier. Why would I keep on making our life harder so his life can be easier? That's also like me struggling. So I had to cut that out. You really don't have to help the other parent, especially if you have the children. You don't have to. All you need to do is take care of your kids, and if they don't, then they don't. If they do, whoop-de-doo. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would most definitely do what works for you and your family, but I definitely had to, you know, learn myself, learn my parents, learn me, learn him. And I'm like, shoot, maybe I just shouldn't talk mostly about what's going on. Maybe I should just keep it to myself, you know, because I'm noticing that I'm getting over things quickly, and everybody's still like, well, no, wait a minute, he did this last week. And I'm like, well, shit, it's Monday. That was last Monday. Like, okay. But, you know, I know people want the best for me, and people know that there's patterns. Like, I was living day to day, and I had to look back, and I'm like, okay, this is a pattern. This has been happening since so-and-so was born, or since this and since that. Like, it's not changing. You need to change. So if you have to cut the other parent off for a little bit, and literally, I'm telling you, it's not struggling, it's being stronger for your children. If you have to cut the other parent off and show them who you are, do it. do it. I'm not saying be evil and be manipulative. Literally show the other parent that you are doing all that you can. And you're not going to keep on doing it if it's not being respected or reciprocated. That's point blank period. Like, for me, like, I really hope he does not watch this anymore, because now I want to tell you guys like certain things. I just don't want him to be upset. But basically, like, we had a conversation where David felt like I didn't love and care about him, and sure enough, I do care about David. We're just not in love. So I feel like I don't have to take care of him as much as I used to, and it just bothers me because sometimes he'll make me feel like I'm not a good person because of that. He's not trying to. It's just that David was technically like the only child, so it was his way or the highway most of the time. And I'm sorry, but I was raised, anywhere I went, there was a kid or two or 5. Like, there was no like, oh, well, it's my way. Like, how come you aren't doing things my way? Like, it was never like that for me. And I learned that at a really young age. Like, compromise is how the world goes round. Like, compromising. And sometimes compromising becomes you making the other person's life easier, and they're just taking. So like I said, do what you gotta do to show them. Like, I tried everything I could, but like, you gotta figure it out on your own. So right now for me, like, I'm most definitely in a good headspace where I feel like, no, me and David don't have to. King is in my room fucking it up, you guys. I am so pissed off right now. Anyway. Oh my god. Wait a second. Okay, ignore the background. He's really supposed to be napping. He's just mad because I took the toy away from him that he was ramming against my clothes rack. Ignore it. He acts just like his daddy. If you take something, he's gonna be mad. But basically, like, I'm doing what I feel like is necessary to make me and the kids' life easy.
Hi, this is Officer Sarah Schultz calling you from the legal department. The very second you receive this message, you need to leave your work aside so that we can discuss about your case and take necessary action on this matter.
Freaking spam. So basically, I'm doing what I feel like is best for me and the kids first, and then if I feel like overextending my helping hand, then I will. But for the most part, I feel like, you know, David just needs to learn on his own. He needs to learn what's gonna work for him in his life and what's going to, you know, better him and his children, because the babies need him. Like, they need an active father, they need a good father, they need someone who they can trust and all that good stuff. Like, they need that. I can't provide stuff like that for them. I'm not a man, and I never was, and I never will be. And honestly, I've only had a few in my life that I can look up to. So, like, he gonna have to figure it out himself, because I don't have very many answers. And I'm not saying that he isn't, because I also, like I said, I have not went downtown to take him to court. I don't want to do the whole child support thing, for the simple fact that they ain't gonna do nothing for me except for take his motherfucking money. And then what's gonna happen? If they're taking a lot of his money, then it's gonna be him struggling even more, to the point where he may not be able to keep the kids, because he may not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. It's real life, you guys. We're not rich. We're not freaking billionaires fighting over custody and child support. We're not. We're everyday regular people, and you know, we're both trying to make a living for ourselves. And I feel like, honestly, at this point, like, I don't want things to be harder than what they already are for me. So I felt the best thing for me to do was to kind of let him go. I can't keep helping whenever you call. You know, there is some times where, you know, I may help, but I can't help every time he calls. I can't be there every time he needs me to be there, because I have to be there for the babies that we made. And I'm sure he understands that. It's just some things, like I said, I would say, oh, I'm your friend, I'll be here for you, and then when I didn't feel like it, I wouldn't be, and that's not okay. Like, I should just be honest and tell the truth. I honestly just don't want to be friends, because I too have children to take care of, except they're in my home every day, every night. And that's okay. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, I don't want my kids, I want to live your, like, I have most definitely said I want to be the baby daddy sometimes. I want to go outside and not have to worry about packing 2 diaper bags, a stroller, car seats, them heavy old twins. Boy, I don't want to, you know, like, I don't want to have to worry about that sometimes. And that's completely normal. Don't make nobody feel bad. Don't make nobody let you feel bad or make you feel bad about wanting to live your life because you had one before you had kids. And now look at you, you don't. But yeah, most definitely do what works for you, and you know, don't be putting people in your business if you ain't gonna take the constructive criticism, or if you ain't gonna take the opinions that people will have. Somebody's gonna have an opinion, someone's gonna have something to say. If you don't like it, don't say nothing. I definitely can say that. If you don't like if you know that somebody's gonna open their mouth, do not say anything. Like, what's the point? Because then you done made yourself mad, you probably done made them mad, and then the kids wondering what's wrong, and you just like, fuck, like everything's messed up. So I would most definitely keep your business unless you know that somebody's going to give you logical advice about this reality, because this is reality. If it does not work in the home and you have to leave, this is your reality. You have to figure out how you're going to go parent. This video is so freaking long and I don't care. Like, this is the real. Like, sometimes stuff ain't gonna go how you want it to go. I hope you weren't coming here to think that, like, I hope you weren't coming for advice thinking that I would just change your co-parenting lifestyle. I'm just basically, you know, saying, like, you know, do what works for you. Keep your mouth closed when needed. And also, don't rain on your baby's parade. Like, your children need you. You have 3 kids. Like, they need you to be the best mommy you can be. They need you to be the best father you can be. If you're out here watching this, they need you to be the best you can be, because that's how they will thrive. I always saw, like, or heard that there was some feuding between 2 parents, and your dad said this or did this and your mom is this. Like, I don't think that helped me at all. Like, I just had to see who was who and what was what, and I had to figure everything else out for myself. It was not helpful. Am I blaming my parents? Hell no, because they were young just like I am. That's why I don't hold grudges either against my parents, because looking back, my mom was like 22, my dad was like 24 when they had me. She might have been 22. She was 22 when she had me, or 21, and my dad was like 23, 24. So they were most definitely young. I'm a slight bit younger, and they had to grow up. Now, I'm trying to grow up before my kids grow up so that they don't see this. But yeah, the advice I can give you is just that keep your business unless you're ready to hear the opinions and constructive criticism, or even the backlash. Like, if that's what you need, then damn it, go for it. Me personally, I'm gonna speak my mind. If I don't like what you said, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be pissed off. We both gonna be pissed off. But you know, like, just, you know, talk to yourself, talk to your higher power, right? You know, even if you have to request, like, you know, a mediator, do that. This stuff costs money when you involve the courts. It costs money when you need a lawyer. It costs money when you're fighting just to get the other parent to do better. So what you really should do is figure it out first. If you can't, you know your option. Go to the courts, do what you gotta do, and be done with it, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep on happening. Something's gonna keep on happening. People do grow. Don't get me wrong, people do grow, but you have to give them space and room to grow. I learned that I had to give David space and room. I had to give him his time. I had to let him feel upset. I had to let him feel like he didn't have me anymore. I had to let him feel like, you know, she just said fuck me, like, oh my god, like whatever he was feeling, he had to feel it to be like, all right, well, that's done. She's not here, she's not replying, like, what am I gonna do? Go to work, make my money so I can see my kids? Like, that's all I can do. So that's all he, like, that is, like, he says he's trying, and I believe him. I always, you know, start fresh. I always try and start new. You say you're trying, I'm gonna believe you until you show me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm just waiting on him to mess up, but patterns do happen. And, you know, after you see a pattern happening for years, you're like, well, damn, like, what's going on? You good? But no, do what you need to do to make your life easier. It may not be as simple as, you know, letting the other person go, because you may still very much love him. You may still very much love her. You may still very much, you know, care for them or whatever else, or they are just not there at all. If they're not there at all, you have one or two options. Go to court with that ass, or don't, and make your, like, they will feel that wrath if they choose to be in the kids' life when they get older. The kids will be the ones to say yes or no, I want you here. And then that's more chopped liver. Their feelings are going to be hurt even more. Like, you honestly have to do what you got to do. Build your own support system. Build people you trust, keep them around. The people you don't, kick them out. Also, you know, like, my dad always tells me I have to be stronger. I hate when he says it, honestly, because I have been strong since I was a motherfucking baby, y'all. I was a child. My stepdad can vouch. I have went through so much in my 23 years of living than someone that's 40 or 50 can say. I literally have. And if he was on here, he could vouch for me. I have been through so much. My mom has even said, in relationship wise and co-parenting and stuff, I went through more than she did in her span of, what, I think 10 years in literally 3 years. So I had to grow up real quick, you know, and it was not fun. And I'm, you know, I tell my dad, I get tired of being strong, or I am strong. And I know what he means by you have to be stronger, because, like, this is a situation that he hasn't went through. He didn't have to raise 3 kids on his own with no help from his, like, he didn't have to do that. But he's saying, like, you have to be strong because there is nothing else you can do, literally, unless you want to give your kids up and be like one of those moms who, like, yeah, let me come back into my kid's life and do what you gotta do. I ain't bashing nobody. Do what you gotta do. But I'm just saying, be strong for those kids, because they need you regardless of what you're going through. They're gonna grow up and be like, well, I mean, yeah, you chose the wrong person, and yeah, like, you guys fought and stuff, but you set me up for failure. Like, that's just what it is. Like, do what you gotta do for you and those babies. Also, I would definitely recommend, like, talking to someone who has been through the same thing. Like I said, like, it's easier when you have someone who has been through the same thing as you to confide in. Like I said, my parents, co-parenting was not easy for them, so I most definitely talked to all of them about it. Not just one, I talked to all of them, because I never saw none of them get along. Never saw none of them get along, so I talked to all of them. Now, I only, like, sometimes I may go to one person about something because I know as a kid they went through this. Or, you know, I tell everybody the same freaking scenario or story, and I'm like, what do I do? What's your best advice? And then everybody gives their input, and whoever I feel it's like the best advice was, that's what I go with. Or I'd be like, all right, you know what? None of that helped. I'm gonna listen to myself and just say fuck it and just leave it alone. Like, sometimes it's easier to leave situations alone. No social media, bashing, no nothing. No going to your parents. The only person I would say to talk to about anything is someone who's unbiased, which is most likely a counselor therapist, whatever. That is the easiest route to go if you feel like you have no one. Because technically they cannot hold it against you. It's their job. They can't hold that against you. They can't dangle it above your head and be like, oh, you have a shitty baby daddy, shitty baby mama. Like, they can't do that. So if that's the only other resort you have, go for it. I most definitely want to go to therapy for more than just, you know, all of my, you know, little coping, whatever. Like, I want to go to therapy for just life. But oh, the twins are up. That's just honestly the best way to do things if you feel like you have no one. So yeah, I hope that helped. I did a lot of talking, and I probably talked in circles because, like, I'm over here trying to get A, B, and Z done. A, B, and Z. Literally, A, B, and Z. I'm trying to get the whole alphabet done in one day. But yeah, do what you gotta do to make it work for y'all, and hope for the best. But always put you and those babies first. If you got the babies, put you and those babies first. That's all they're gonna know. They only know you. Put them first, most definitely. I am just looking for lashes to wear, you guys. You guys will see me with my face all done on DC Squad for this hair video that I'm doing. So if you want to finish, that will most likely, that will be up already. If not, then it'll be up like literally in a day or two. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little nail talks, my advice. I'm still growing and learning. I probably could talk all day about this, but yeah, do what you gotta do to make it work for you and your family, and really fuck what anybody else says, because you're the parent. At the end of the night, you're the one putting the kids to bed. Peace and love. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and DM me if you have any more advice, questions, or if you want to know anything. I'll try and be real transparent about most things. I'm out. Peace.